So Musket offered to help and led Frank out of the forest.
So Jake and I, and sometimes Nikki and Tony, go out and read to the schools, and we go out to summer reading programs. All right, well, I'll give you a hint.
I'll get it one question.
How long did it take to make the book?
Perfect.
It's like, was it 10 months?
I think 10 months when we started. I mean, our meeting that we had in my sketchbook in April, and sometimes even Musket goes out with us.
You can pet Musket. Pet Musket. He's so fluffy.
He is fluffy. Good job, guys.
But this whole project originally started as WVU's holiday message.
So every year at WVU, we put out this holiday message. It's in the form of a video. It's called our holiday card. And it's intended to kind of rile up the holiday spirit and the mountaineer spirit of our students, faculty, alumni.
It was going to be maybe a pop-up book, or we went through a whole bunch of ideas, and we started way back in February 2015. So we ended up wanting to tell the story of how Musket, the dog Musket, met up with the WVU Mountaineer. So Jake and Tony wrote up the story. I spent the summer doing the illustrations.
So in 2015, our book had just come out that November. So we were still kind of scrambling to, find an idea or a theme for the holiday video.
And when we got done, we didn't have a holiday theme. It was just Musket's story. But we had a good book. So we decided to go ahead and put the book together. But we still needed a West Virginia holiday message.
So we thought, why not mesh the holiday video in with Musket, our book? And that way, that would help sort of promote the book in its own way. And it also allowed us to extend Musket's story from what was in the book.
So Jake hit the keyboards and wrote another holiday story.
Our colleague, Tony Dobies, and I, Tony is one of the co-authors of Musket. We got together and sketched out a draft for this holiday video that would feature Musket.
And the story he wrote was really fun. It was great. It had lots of holiday motifs.
So to make it holiday themed, it was some far-fetched adventure involving Musket and all these holiday scenes. Like we came up with the Candy Cane Cave,
And the Jingle Bell Bridge.
Gingerbread Gorge.
There was hot chocolate rivers flowing everywhere. I mean, it was just a lot of fun.
As the sun sets, he reaches the frozen forest, a blistery land of ice and snow.
And a deer fell through the ice, and Musket saved the day.
But at the end of the day, the video was a little bit too heavy on the holiday themes.
But we had one problem. It didn't have any WVU feel to it.
We still wanted a holiday video, but we kind of backed off on the holiday themes a bit.
So it was literally back to the drawing boards, and Jake wrote another story.
About Musket losing his hat. And that's one of Musket's prized possessions that he gets at the end of the book.
And I don't mind doing this. I like the creative process where you go into a meeting and there's nothing, there's no raw material whatsoever, but you have, in animation, you have to create it all. Even the audio has to be all created. So I like doing that, and it's fun. I like to draw, and so doing the first, it was kind of getting warmed up for the real thing. So Jake set out, Jake and Tony, I think, put a new story together. The only problem really we have, and that was we were running out of time. This was in late November for early December release.
So we wrote up a story where the main plot is, Musket loses his prized possession, his coonskin cap. And it's winter time at WVU, so we thought it'd be a good idea to show some of the scenic elements of campus, the landmarks that we have, to give the give our audience that that feeling of mountaineer and holiday spirit.
So we did more storyboards, and I did more drawings, and I put an animatic together for timing, but it all came together pretty well.
So when Musket loses that hat, he kind of feels like he's lost his identity, because that hat meant a lot to him because it was given to him by the mountaineer. So Musket's kind of sad, but he persists, and he's very resilient, which is another aspect we wanted to show as far as the mountaineer spirit goes.
We got Dr. Gee, and we had to get a bunch of kids together to go up to his house, and it was going to be where President Gee was going to read to the kids the original Musket book, and then go into this holiday story.
So with the taping involved some scheduling around President Gee's calendar. It was taped at Blaney House, and there was a lot of strategy that went into it. We had to find kids, first of all, who'd be willing to sit around while we taped this. That's something funny. I remember at some point Gee was on the floor. This isn't for the video, but Gee was on the floor and all the kids were like crawling around him. That's just a funny visual.
He wrote the book.
Yeah.
So the book we did is called Musket's Big Adventure. Does anyone know who Musket is? He's a sad doggy, huh? Why is he sad?
Because he's in a cage.
So the mountaineer grabbed the bear's paw and started to pull, but then the mountaineer started slipping too. Probably my favorite part of the whole process and of doing this project is going out into the schools and reading it to the kids. So as many times as we've gone out to schools or summer reading programs, I still get nervous before going up and reading to these kids. It's become a little easier, I think, and they're into the story. They ask us questions about the process, and yeah, I like it when we find when there are kids in the audience who are like writers and they want to be writers. And I guess one of the things is that we want to, by reading the book, there's some outlandish things happen in this book. Like one part, we see the dog lifting a bear and a man, the mountaineer, just with his teeth and saving them from the cliff. So we have some kids who ask us, how can a dog do that? A dog can't be that strong. Well, my answer is, when you're writing, when you're an artist, you can create anything, you can make anything happen. Yeah, but once we get out there and start getting into the book and getting comfortable, you see, as you see some of the kids' eyes light up, and they become inquisitive and really interested in the story. I especially like it when, you find out some of the kids in the group are aspiring writers, or they're really interested in writing. And if there's any sort of way that we influence kids in their drive to become writers or artists, that's really awesome.
Well, of course we got it done on time, and now I'd like to show you Musket's Holiday Adventure.
They told 60,000 fans how Musket saved the day. As they stood and cheered, Musket thought, "This is the best place on earth." The mountaineer handed Musket a present. It was his very own coonskin cap. Musket jumped around with joy What started as a curious adventure led Musket to his new home in the Golden Blue Mountains. And that is how our favorite furry friend Musket found his new home at West Virginia University.
Tell us another story, President Key.
Okay, I will. Here's one. Musket loved his new cap so much that he wore it with great pride wherever he went. Not only did it keep his head warm, but it made him feel warm inside, because when his friend the Mountaineer gave him that cap, he became a part of a real family, the Mountaineer family. On one blustery winter day in Morgantown, Musket was roaming through the core arboretum looking for other critters to play with when a gust of cold wind whipped around and blew his hat off. Musket's heart sank as he watched his most beloved possession, a gift from the Mountaineer himself, fade away into the snowy air. Determined to find his cap, Musket leaped into the air and started running. His hat drifted into the Coliseum. It floated past the Creative Arts Center and all the way over to the Health Sciences campus. The hat vanished from Musket's sight. He became filled with sorrow and he slumped with sadness. But then he remembered how much the hat made him feel like a mountaineer. He needed it back to be part of the family again. He could not quit now. Just then, out of the corner of his eye, Musket spotted the furry cap flying through the air. He chased it to the PRT station, which led him to the downtown campus. That's when people gathered outside Woodburn Circle wondering why the bell had not rung all day. Musket saw the hat teetering up the bell tower. So the tenacious Pooch dashed into Woodburn Hall and up the stairs to retrieve his prized possession. He whizzed toward the coonskin cap, knocking his noggin on the frozen bell. Musket did it! He got his cap back! Musket felt good to be part of the family again. But what Musket did not realize is that it wasn't the hat that made him a mountaineer. It was the courage and determination he showed in never, ever giving up. That is what made him a true mountaineer, and that mountaineer spirit lives in all of us today. Happy holidays from your Mountaineer family.
President Key, please tell us another story.
We're going to be here until the end of December.